Good morning to everybody. This is the next video on hydroponic nutrient solutions. Already we have seen how the substrates are there, how the various substrates can be put as inert material. Now we would like to dwell upon the nutrient solutions in the hydroponics. So there are few things which we have to take care. Essentially, whatever the nutrients required for the plant does not differ much in the in this case also. But naturally the soil will give some nutrients. Over and above, we try to substantiate the nutrients by adding fertilizers and all. But here there is no soil in hydroponics. It is only very inert material. Therefore, the game ball is a little bit different. For example, you can see now we are dealing with inorganic hydroponic solutions. We'll also deal with the organic hydroponic solutions later on. So the formulation of hydroponic solutions is an application of plant nutrition with nutrient deficiency symptoms mirroring those found in traditional soil-based agriculture. It's not much different. It's only simply we have to somehow or other to see that the required nutrients simply goes to the plant through the root system. However, the underlying chemistry of hydroponic solutions can differ from soil chemistry in many significant ways. Important different includes, as I told you, there is some difference. It's not just like in the soil there are already existing nutrients, but we are simply adding by putting some fertilizers and other things on the soil. Here what is happening, these are some of the difficulties. Unlike soil, hydroponic nutrient solutions do not have cation exchange capacity from clay particles or organic matter. In normally during the salt problems in the irrigated lands, we have dwelt upon what is meant by cation exchange. Cation exchange is simply in the soil you have a clay particles, they are negatively charged. So whenever there is a clay is negatively charged, some positively charged cations will form a bond like thing. They will be exchanged. They will sit on these negatively charged cations are attached. So stronger the cations that will go on replace. So such a cation exchange capacity or the phenomena is not there because there is no soil here. Okay. So the absence of CEC, that means cation exchange, means the pH and nutrient concentrations can change much more rapidly. The pH of the solution and nutrient concentrations in the solution can change much more rapidly in hydroponic setups than is possible in soil. So, in the soil, the pH is not changing much because of this cation exchange phenomena existing. Whereas here, in the case of hydroponic solutions, there is no such soil or other things. You can find only solution. There is no cation exchange phenomena. Therefore, the pH is changing quite quickly, and nutrient concentrations are also changing quite quickly. This we have to manage in hydroponic solutions which you are giving to the plants. So, selective absorption of nutrients by plants often imbalances the amount of counter ions in solution. Counter ions means, so for example, if you have NaCl, Na plus and Cl is a minus. These two are called counter ions. So there's nothing big thing here. So what is happening? Selective absorption of nutrients. So by plants often imbalances the amount of counter ions in the solution. There will not be plus minus ions equally there always in the solution. This will get changed because of the absence of cation exchange. Okay, so this imbalance can rapidly affect the solution pH. The whatever the hydroponic solution are providing will imbalance this pH, and the ability of plants to absorb nutrients of similar ionic charge. So therefore, since there is imbalance, the nutrients also may not be get into the plant. That is also another problem. For instance, you can see here nitrate ions are often consumed rapidly by plants to form proteins. leaving an excess of cations in the solution. In normal situation like soil, the soil will absorb these cations, but here in the hydroponic solutions, cations left free there. So this cation imbalance can lead to deficiency symptoms in other cation based nutrients, for example, Mg2 plus. So some cations are excessively there. So normally what will happen, this plant cannot absorb other cations or nutrients. There is some because of this imbalance. Even when an ideal quantity of those nutrients are dissolved in the solution, you think that you have done an ideal solution, and ultimately what is happening, some cation imbalance observed, and the plant cannot absorb these nutrients. That's the problem. So what is the solution for this? I mean, the problem solving solution for this, in depending on pH or on the presence of water contaminants, nutrients such as iron can also precipitate from the solution and become unavailable to. This is another also problem. So the iron is a micronutrient actually. NPK are the macronutrients. There are many micronutrients like this. So iron gets precipitated depending on the pH, because pH is very quickly changing. So there are something like a ball game here. We have to make this pH constant. Routine adjustments to this pH and then buffering the solution or the use of chelating agents is often necessary. So routine adjustment to pH is one thing, and then buffering the solution another thing, or the use of chelating agents is often necessary for the problems what we have discovered. Chelating agents means the agents which will make the bonds together. These ions, in a layman's language, we can understand. I'm not a soil chemist to explain properly. Chelating agents means these bonds make these agents make the bonds and then sticking together the ions. Okay, so routine adjustment to the pH is the one problem that we have to make adjustments, and then buffering the solution because pH is changing, or the use of chelating agents is often necessary. These are some of the things we can depend upon to adjust the, to keep the pH in the same position. Okay, so this is organic hydroponic solutions. Now we come organic fertilizers. Already before going to that, let us go to this inorganic, still some more better way, because there are so many nutrients and other things in that document. Yeah, you can see these are the element and then role. Yes, the element is nitrogen. It is essentially a macronutrient. Okay, of course, ionic forms of NO3 minus nitride, and then NH4. So these NH4 interferes with calcium cation uptake and can be toxic to plants if used as a major nitrogen source. So there are certain some of these things you have to balance. So potassium, this is another thing. Mostly this is in high range, almost 1000 it is required. Okay, common sources already we know. Already these things are NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and then potassium. These are NPK, major macronutrients, major nutrients to this plant. Normally in the agriculture we provide with this fertilizers. Okay, of course here in the solution form. Of course, calcium, magnesium also are macronutrients, including sulfur. These are all inorganic. They can be available as a company-made solutions, or on your own you can also prepare. But you can see one of the major problem is macro. These are micronutrients: iron, zinc, copper, manganese, all these things. Even these micronutrients are the problems even in normal agriculture also. People normally, these farmers and others, knowingly or unknowingly, they simply mostly use this NPK because they can see visually their crop greenery and all those things. But what they don't really found is, unless there is a scientist go and test it, these micronutrients are deficient in majority of the normal farming systems in agriculture. Okay, so and the yield gets reduced very considerably also, particularly zinc, iron, and even copper and so on. Okay. So here, since we are preparing the solution, these micronutrients can be easily controlled. But only thing is you have to balance these cations. That's the thing. So there's a lot of data and other things are here. You can go through the document which I have sent to you. So including even titanium and even cobalt. I think even boron also is there as a micronutrient. Okay, so let us go for organic hydroponic solutions. Now, in the organic hydroponic solutions, there is a little bit problem here, but those problems also can be overcome. Just like even inorganic, also some of the problems are there. Always for any technique, there are some problems, but we have to overcome. Basically, these organic fertilizers can be used to supplement or entirely replace the inorganic compounds. Why people have to resort to this organic manures, even normal agriculture also? Because people are buying more with the high cost. So there is a value addition. If they organically they have grown these agricultural produce, much particularly these vegetables and so on, then you have a much more value addition to the agriculture produce is there. That's why people are nowadays has become a fashion. Not only fashion, it is a essential also, because unnecessarily a lot of fertilizers are used, pesticides are used, and then there is health problems. So almost these things are become systemic in the normal agriculture. In hydroponic solutions, you have a best option. You can have your own controlled environment and then grow the plants with organic nutrients also. Even in inorganic also, it's not bad as long as they are just only sufficient to meet the plant requirements. What is the problem in the surface water, surface, soils, agriculture, soil-based agriculture? There are too many adding of these, pests, pesticides, and then so on. Okay, so let us go with this. Organic fertilizers can be used to supplement or entirely replace the organic compounds. Either you can as a supplement to the inorganic one, or entirely you can replace the inorganic compounds used in the conventional hydroponic solutions. However, using organic fertilizers using organic fertilizers introduces a number of challenges that are not easily resolved. Examples include, okay, there are certain challenges. They are not easily resolved. What are those challenges? Organic fertilizers are highly variable in their nutritional composition. Even similar materials can differ significantly based on their source. You see, this is organic in nature. You have to draw the source from either animal waste or even excreta from these many of these birds or chicken or poultry or cow dung or many buffalo and so on. So their source is not in your control. Their nutrient source not in your control, so you have to monitor it properly. Organic fertilizers are often sourced from animal byproducts, making disease transmission and a serious concern for plant growth for human consumption or animal forage. Even the disease transmission also is a problem when you are taking from animal excreta. So like that, because it's under very controlled environment, a little bit virus or bacteria, if it affect the plants, then that is a big problem. Organic fertilizers are often particulate and can clog substrates or other growing equipment, sieving or milling the organic materials to fine dust often is. See, because this is a organic matter, having a particulate matter very much. These particulate has to be milled. We have to make it a fine powder like thing. Sieving and milling is the essential if you want to use organic materials, so that they would not clog these equipment. That is one of the important things. Some organic materials, can further degrade to emit foul odors. Of course, there are things which are emit foul odor. Nevertheless, if precautions are taken, organic fertilizers can be used successfully in hydrocarbons. You can use it. Similarly, you can have many of these organic sources. You can see all these sources here. Some starting from blood meal to there are NPK values and other things. Most of these organic material, particularly in the these manures of poultry and then bat and then bird gango, the lot of NPK values as well as micronutrients. So, but we have to manage this properly. Okay, we'll stop this video here.